Several exciting new developments about Dollywood 2026 attraction. Progress is going very fast on the frame of the building itself. We have some new teasers from the park to talk about. And I know you're probably thinking, didn't you say your last construction update was going to be the last one because you were moving? And yeah, I always do all my actual construction updates like on site at the park. As you can see, I'm not at a theme park right now. I'm actually in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which, if you know anything about geography, that's not anywhere close to Dollywood. I know I've said this in the last few construction updates, but I had a really exciting job opportunity come up. And as much as I love Tennessee, I just wanted to kind of get out there, explore some other corners of the country, and maybe corners of the world, who knows. So that's the very abbreviated version of why I am living in Wisconsin for the foreseeable future. And apologies about the echo in here. This room, I haven't really put anything in this room yet, so it's a little echoey, but the other rooms are a little too messy to do a video like this in right this second. But anyways, Dollywood may not be my home park anymore, but it's always going to have a very special place in my heart, and I'm very excited about the future of this park, even if I'm not able to visit it very often, because I'll still always be passionate about it, and it'll still be something I want to share about. So since we do have some 2026 attraction stuff to talk about, and I've already kind of been covering this a little bit while I lived there, I figured I'd talk about some of that right now, right here. So last time I was there, my last construction update was Wednesday, June 18th. But then my friend Jason from Coasters and Things actually visited the park on Tuesday, June 24th. And he was kind enough to actually share a quick video shot he got of the building from the train to allow me to use in a construction update type video like this. So huge shout out to Jason from the YouTube channel Coasters and Things for giving me this clip to use here. Unfortunately, iMessage compressed the absolute heck out of it for some reason. It's full of weird compression artifacts, but it is what it is. Again, this was taken on the 24th, only about 6 days after I did my construction update. And you can already see compared to when I was there in my last video, I mean, when I was there, they had the supports in the roof up, but they've been moving pretty quickly on installing the steel beams on the side that will hold, I assume, the wall panels on the side of the building. Just really impressive how fast they're moving on this now. I know this is not the complicated part. The complicated part's getting the foundations in and the engineering design work and all that. At this point, the beams are already there. You just gotta basically bolt them on like onto the poles that way. So really not difficult. You can do it fast, but still impressive how fast they are moving on that. Again, only about a 6-day difference between when I was there and this, and you can already see they're just almost done with those beams on the side there, ready to install the wall panels. Don't know if they're going to do that right away or wait till they're able to do some more inside work, because you can also see that there's lots of construction equipment on the inside of the building, excavators, other things working on the inside. It's probably easier to get that stuff in and out and do work on the inside there while you still have the sides somewhat open. So I assume the wall panels aren't going on right away, but we'll see. You can also see kind of on whatever side it was where they had a little trench dug out to run like conduits for utilities. That seems to have been filled in now. And you can see the conduit come out a few feet away from the building. So I assume that's where main utilities, electricity, maybe gas, but probably just electricity are probably going to be run into the building there. Otherwise, not a ton to say here, just because it's kind of hard to make out anything with just how much is really going on there. But point is, they are moving fast on this building. You can see some more concrete supports kind of in the building, which I assume will hold ride track of some sort, whether this will be a roller coaster type dark ride, which rumor says it may be, or if it's a more traditional type dark ride, it'll still have supported track. And I assume we'll see more of where that track and stuff is going to probably end up going as they continue to do groundwork inside of the building there, which they are doing now. And again, this was June 24th, which is over a week ago. By the time you're seeing this, probably it will have been well over a week. Just unfortunately with the whole process of moving and starting a new job and everything, I wasn't able to put this video together right away. So again, just looking at the difference between the 18th and the 24th, I'm sure by now, by the time you're seeing this, the site already looks completely different than what you're seeing right now. But yeah, they're moving quickly. Although something interesting I didn't really notice last time that most people won't care about at all, but there's nowhere on the roof to kind of run through like RTUs or any like packaged roof air conditioning units. This building better be air conditioned, because you know how hot it can get down there during the summer. But a lot of the theater venues at Dollywood seem to use just giant air handlers like outside the building. So I assume that's probably what they're going to be doing here. I don't know. But I know nobody watching this video probably cares, so we'll move on. All right, let's talk teasers now, because Dollywood has finally started a proper teaser campaign for this ride. It took long enough. I say that, actually it's June. They didn't really start teasing Big Bear Mountain until like July, I think, before it was announced. But anyways, they're doing kind of the same thing they did for Big Bear Mountain, where they have these posters that they're putting up around the park with a phone number that you can call, kind of like a little ARG thing to get some extra information. It seems to be the same poster that they're posting different places around the park. These images all originally came from Misty Smith on the Dollywood Facebook group. Somebody sent these to me. Some people were asking her if they could repost these pictures, and she was telling everybody on Facebook, yes, I don't have a Facebook account to ask myself, but credit to Misty Smith on Facebook for these photos. So you can see the posters, and it's some pretty artwork. The art style is very reminiscent of the artwork we saw in the new Wilderness Pass restaurant that just opened, which is also very reminiscent of some of the artwork in the queue for Fire Chaser Express. It's that same kind of art style, so I assume the same kind of artists were working on it. It doesn't look AI generated. I don't think it's AI generated. I think it is actual art, which is cool. But it is a little odd that the style is so similar to what you see at Wilderness Pass, because those are, despite having, I guess, similar names and themes on paper, those are two different areas of the park. But yeah, I'm probably looking into this a little bit too much. Anyways, the artwork is beautiful. You can see a biplane kind of flying over the Smoky Mountains with some fireflies down at the bottom there. At sunset, you can even see some stars in the sky. It's a really cool piece of artwork. I did kind of think maybe they would put different posters around the park, and maybe they have, but all the pictures I've seen are of the exact same poster posted in different places. So it's a good poster though, it's a good poster. So yeah, it does harken back to the flight theme that we knew already that this ride was going to have, you know, a flight kind of theme to it. And you can see in the bottom right hand corner is the logo for the Hidden Hollow Aviation Company. So last time I was there, the train driver gave a little teaser about the Hidden Hollow Aviation Company, that kind of being the theme for the ride. And we have a logo now, so that's cool. And of course you have, for more information, call this number or text hidden to that number. So we'll do that in just a second. Again, this is pretty much exactly the same thing they did for Big Bear Mountain. Big Bear Mountain, they put up wanted posters for Big Bear, and then had a number you could call if you had information on Big Bear. And then when you call the number, it was Ned Oakley talking about how he's going to find Big Bear next spring. So, you know, nothing too crazy, but it's cool. I absolutely love, I don't think I've really talked about this enough on this channel, I absolutely love a good teaser campaign for a ride. Like, I remember when Kings Island was doing the teaser campaign for Orion, and I was eating up every bit of that. But it seems like we get less and less of that over time. Some of that may be that so many rides seem to completely leak early nowadays, but I don't know. I just feel like we get less and less cool teaser campaigns. So thank you, Dollywood, for at least keeping that somewhat alive with I love the kind of ARG element where it's like, you know, you find the poster in the park and then you call the number, you get some extra information. Like, I don't know, it's just so cool. I wish more parks would do that. But yeah, let's go ahead and call the number and see what happens. All right, I got an iPad film for this, but here we go.
Thank you for calling the Hidden Hollow Aviation Company. Our team is currently preparing our offices as we get ready to bring exciting new adventure tours to Wildwood Grove. We can't wait to search for the secrets that make this neck of the woods so special. If you would like to book an all-in-one adventure tour of the Smokies, please text HIDDEN to 41274 or visit us at hiddenhollowaviation.com, and we'll sign you up to join the next adventure. Thanks.
All right, not a ton in the call there, but let's go ahead and text the number and see what we get here. All right, there we go. Thank you for signing up. Reply stop. Okay, that's it. So I guess I'll kind of text you updates here as more teasers are available. I guess. We'll see. So yeah, not really a ton going on there in terms of new information. It was just kind of it's supposed to sound like if the Hidden Hollow Aviation Company was an actual company, what their kind of voicemail box would sound like, I guess. It didn't really tell us anything other than we'll be flying over the Smoky Mountains, which we already knew from the teasers in the park. But I still do appreciate this little setup here for sure. I think there's, you know, probably more they could have done with it. I'm still waiting for some theme park to do like an absolutely crazy, you know, online scavenger hunt for a ride teaser campaign, which isn't quite what we have here. What we have here is kind of just a rehash of what they did for Big Bear Mountain, but it's still very cool, and I still really appreciate them doing a teaser like this instead of just a generic like ride announcement just out of nowhere. So yeah, anyways, okay, I actually did just get another text from that number, the Dollywood number, that basically says I'm on a wait list for tours at the Hidden Hollow Aviation Company. So then it gives like a weird bit.ly link or something like that that goes to a hidden page on Dollywood's website. I don't think you can find this just on the website by itself. However, once you get there, it's just kind of a generic teaser landing page for the new attraction. There's a place at the bottom to sign up for email updates, which of course I did. There are 2 teaser videos. One of them is a teaser video that we already saw at the beginning of the season, or at least they presented it at a pass holder event, a diamond pass holder event, I think. I didn't get to go, but they presented that first video. Oh my gosh, somebody's motorcycling. They think they're cool. Anyways, at some event at the beginning of the season, they presented this first video, which is what made a lot of people think the attraction is going to be a flying theater, which it's not. But anyways, it's just kind of a generic, you're gonna fly over the Smokies, and then at the end, it ends with a splash screen that's take flight in 2026. And then there's a second video on the site, which I don't think is one we've seen before. At least it's not one I've seen before. Kind of opens with a kid, presumably a kid, maybe an adult, somebody digging through a chest, finding some magical things or something or other. They eventually pull out a book that says The Legend of the Secret Lake, which that's super interesting. I'll tell you why in a second. Then eventually transitions into kind of the same flying animation that we saw in the first teaser. And then weirdly enough, it ends on the splash screen, Take the Plunge 2026, which seems completely inconsistent with everything else about the ride so far. So that's actually super interesting. Then just on top of the page is just another poster, actually different. It's the same art style as the posters in the park, but it is a different poster. So that's cool. And that's it. That's all that's there right now. I presume maybe there'll be more later. I don't know. I really like the art style for this attraction though. It's really cool. All right, well anyways, it's time to head into pure speculation territory. Since we've just seen the teasers for the attraction, let's talk story. So obviously this ride's going to involve some kind of story that involves you flying over the Smoky Mountains. Specifically, it was mentioned in the park, you'll be flying over Wilderness Pass and Timber Canyon. At least that's what the train driver said. Also, the day I was there, he said, giving you never before seen views of Dollywood's roller coasters. However, in Jason's clip that he sent me, his train driver did not say such a thing. And sometimes those train drivers just kind of ramble on, not in a bad way, but sometimes they just kind of ramble. So maybe they didn't exactly mean what he said when he said fly over or Dollywood's roller coasters or whatever he did say when I was there, because all of these teasers don't seem to have anything to do with the park itself. So Timber Canyon and Wildwood Grove both canonically are in the Smoky Mountains. I think, yeah, I was just confirming in my head. Every area of Dollywood, theming story-wise, canonically exists in the Smoky Mountains, but they do not canonically exist in the Smoky Mountains as theme park areas. They exist as areas of the Smoky Mountains. Hopefully that made sense. So when we say flying over Smoky Mountains and flying through Timber Canyon and Wildwood Grove, that all story-wise checks out as being, those are parts of the Smoky Mountains in the Dollywood canon, I guess you could say. Doesn't necessarily mean that any roller coasters or that the park itself will be involved. Now, it's interesting. When we got the teaser on the train, I was concerned that the attraction was just going to be kind of just fly around the park and then maybe some magical parts of the park or something that we haven't seen before, and that would be it. But with these teasers, I'm more thinking that the actual theme park won't be involved. It'll just be the areas of the park, specifically Timber Canyon and Wildwood Grove. And hopefully then, maybe we see some references to attractions or restaurants or something in those areas at Dollywood, but it's not just, drone footage flying over those parts of Dollywood, hopefully. And that seems to be more what these teasers, especially this second teaser here, lean into. So as I've mentioned before, Dollywood sent out a season pass holder survey back in 2019, I think it was, a very long time ago at this point, pre-COVID, that had, it was a survey about potential dark ride themes. And there was a lot of different stuff in there. But one of the things specifically, it may have actually been 2020 or 2021 when this survey came out. I don't know. At some point there was a survey that went out about dark rides And one of the options was a dark ride where you would explore the secrets that lie beneath the Wildwood tree, and the description of that ride had you encountering some magical lake where like magical things happen in a magical lake, and it had some crazy looking, beautiful looking concept art that I'm sure the final ride will not look like that, because it never quite works out that way. Even at like Disney and Universal parks, they never look quite like the concept art. That's just kind of how it is. But regardless, I'm sure it would still be a really cool scene. So that's why in this teaser, when they pull out the book and it's the legend of the secret lake, to me that's confirmation that they've gone with at least part of, probably not word for word from the survey, but they've at least taken the idea of the secret underground lake. I presume that will be part of this attraction. If I had to guess, that's probably the like climactic ending scene. I think that'll be probably the most visually impressive part of the ride, the part that really makes you go like, wow, that's beautiful. Kind of that almost Disney Universal style like shock wow moment that you have on a lot of their dark rides. I presume that's what that'll be for this ride, and that'll probably be near the end of the ride or at the end of the ride, kind of the climactic finale. Before that, everything's kind of up in the air story-wise. I don't really know what the motivation is for whatever character is doing whatever they do in this ride. I don't know how the rest of the ride's gonna play out. All I can really say for sure at this point, or can speculate for some degree of confidence at this point, is that we will be flying over the Smoky Mountains and then heading into to see this secret lake, which I am really excited about. I mentioned in the last construction update that I really hoped that there was more of a kind of, I don't know, magic fantasy kind of element if you're gonna do a dark ride like this, and it seems like they're doing that. Anyways, in terms of the ride system itself, I think we all kind of think at this point this is gonna be some kind of like suspended powered coaster. The parks described it as a coaster before. Obviously from the building and the theme and everything, it's going to be a dark ride primarily. So it'll probably be some kind of slow moving powered coaster. At the very most, it'll be like a very tame family coaster, but I think that's off the table. I think it's gonna be some kind of powered coaster, something that mimics a more traditional dark ride experience. So if you're unaware, the suspended powered coaster is a model from Mack rides well, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a powered coaster where you're suspended, that the seats can rotate, has onboard audio, face you towards different screens. This seemed like the ideal option for Dollywood to go with here because it differentiates them, at least in the North American market. There's one of these at Europa Park, and I believe there's one at Universal Beijing. I think that's the only two, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody can correct me, but there's none in North America is the thing. So this would really differentiate them having an attraction like this where it's a dark ride, but you're in like a suspended vehicle. I guess what I'm describing sounds kind of like Universal's ET ride, but it's still distinctly different than that. So it would be a ride system that would be incredibly unique for any of the markets that Dollywood's really competing in, which should give them a good strategic advantage over even like Disney and Universal. Obviously this isn't going to be like a Disney Universal caliber dark ride because the budget's just not there for that. You shouldn't expect that. But my point is more, it'll be a unique ride system that will set this ride apart so it doesn't just feel like a cheap imitation of a dark ride at one of those parks, if that makes sense. This should kind of be its own thing. So that's the rumor. That's still what I'm going with. A Mack ride suspended power coaster. That is still my prediction. I say that because out of nowhere, all of a sudden the last couple days online, most people seemed to be convinced it was Mack rides, as was I. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, and there were many people in my comment sections that thought that this was going to be a Vekoma attraction, and I kind of shut them down. However, all of a sudden, a lot of people online, even people with much better sources than I have, are suddenly saying that this is going to be a Vekoma. Apparently Vekoma has a very similar suspended powered coaster concept. I don't like the Vekoma one as much, just from my very limited what I looked at it, because the Mack rides one, your feet are dangling, which is pretty cool. The Vekoma one is completely enclosed, more like a, I don't know, old Arrow suspended coaster. So probably more family friendly for the park, but I think there'd be more wow factor to the leg dangling Mack rides version. So that's still what I hope it is. Like I mentioned in my last construction update that I saw a Mack rides logo on one of the crates there, and if you watch that video, I was pretty dang confident at that point. The more time that passes, the less confident I am in that. I'm gonna guess that's just what happens, when time passes, your memory becomes a little fuzzier, you become less sure of things. So I'm less sure now, but if you watch that video, I was pretty sure that's what I saw at the time. So I don't know. I'll be a little embarrassed if it ends up being a Vekoma, because since I said that. But I'm not the only one that said that. I've seen many people online say that they saw Mack Ride logos on crates at Dollywood, so it's not just me. But yeah, a lot of people, again, people with solid, reliable sources seem to think it's Vekoma now. I'm still thinking Mack Rides. Mack Ride Suspended Power Coaster is still my guess until it gets announced. Oh, and I totally forgot when I was recording this video, but I remember now. Apparently Blazing Fury is reopening this weekend, 4th of July weekend. So of course, only like 2 weeks after I leave is when they reopen Blazing Fury, so I still can't get my last rides on it to tell it goodbye. But the park still hasn't really said anything about what the refurbishment is, just simply that it is reopening. So if anybody happens to be going to Dollywood for 4th of July weekend or anytime in the future after that, let us know in the comments what changed, what actually changed with Blazing Fury, what's going on. I'm really curious. All right, well, that's it. That's that. I think that's about what I had to say about this attraction. I'm sure I'll think of 12 other things I meant to say after I finish this video and finish editing it. But, right now that's all I can think of. Things have been a little hectic all over the place since, again, starting a new job and just moved and all of that kind of stuff. So sorry if this video was a little unstructured, but regardless, love to get a conversation going in the comments below about what you think this attraction is going to be, what you want to see from this attraction, anything else about this attraction. If you've been to the park more recently than last week, if you've been like this week, let us know, like, what's the building looking like now? What's it? I'm sure they've made progress pretty fast, so let us know. If you're new here, I would appreciate a subscription. Even though I am in Wisconsin, there's still some pretty cool amusement parks, some pretty cool park stuff around here, and I will continue to talk about Dollywood, of course, because I love this place. I still have about a metric million vlogs you can look forward to. I am currently finishing up editing my vlog from Anarchista from February. Yeah, and I upload all my vlogs sequentially, so you have everything from February this year up until now coming up. That includes Anarchista opening day at Dollywood, and Carowinds for that matter. You got my first visit to Six Flags Over Georgia, you got Lisaberg, you got Gronaland, you got Epic Universe. There's just so much coming. I can't even process how much I've already done this year. So many places I didn't even know I would be going. If you told me 6 months ago I'd be going to Gronaland and Lisaberg this year, I would have thought you were crazy, but I did. So all that is coming. Again, I apologize it's coming out so late. It's been a bit of a busy, kind of rough in a good way, not rough in a bad way, but a little bit of a rough and a busy year since I was, finishing up school and then, moving to start a new job and all that kind of stuff. Life just kind of got in the way of making these videos because this is 100% a hobby for me. And in the rare occasion I did have free time, I wanted to spend it, hanging out with friends I wasn't going to get to see anymore because I was moving, or visiting the theme parks I did visit, or, even just playing some video games, watching some YouTube. Point is, my schedule was pretty full regardless, and when I did have free time, editing YouTube videos was not at the top of my priority list. But hopefully within the next couple weeks I can get caught up. Honestly, I really thought I'd be way caught up by now, but I'm not. So hopefully you'll just see like an absolute barrage of vlogs coming out from, to get caught up as quickly as possible, because I don't really like releasing vlogs late, but I always do it anyway. So all that'll be coming, and then lots of new exciting stuff this weekend. I'm visiting my new park, Six Flags Great America, for the first time for 4th of July weekend. It'll be a mess, but I'm excited anyways. Lots of other cool and interesting stuff around this area to check out. Lots of other cool parks around this area I've never been to before. I'm in an area of the country I've never really been to before. So lots of other new and exciting theme park related things around here to explore, as well as just everything. I'm just excited to be here and be in a new place. So lots of things to explore outside of theme parks too, but obviously that doesn't matter to this channel. But I've always wanted to do, top 10s, reviews, all that kind of thing. Other things other than just the vlogs and occasional construction update, but I need to get into a place where I can actually crank out the vlog videos at a steady pace, where they're not 6 months late. And once I get comfortable with that and I have some extra time, I can work on some other stuff. Regardless, I'm talking too much. The point is, there'll be lots of exciting stuff coming up. So I really hope you consider subscribing. Appreciate it, and I love talking to any theme park, amusement park, roller coaster enthusiast, or just casual fan, whatever you are. I love talking about this stuff, so leave a comment. I try to respond to pretty much all my comments, and yeah, that's it. All right, hope to catch a ride with you again very soon.